Russia has been banned from the 2018 Paralympic Games, officials announced Monday, refusing to lift a ban because of what they called an insufficient recovery from the Russian doping scandal. Nonetheless, those officials said, certain disabled Russian athletes will have the opportunity to compete at the coming Winter Games, a decision taken with some disagreement among top Paralympics executives, who were unanimous in their decision not to lift the ban. What was uncovered was not a minor breach of an obligation, Andrew Parsons, president of the International Paralympic Committee, said at a news conference in Bonn, Germany on Monday. This was an orchestrated attack on the integrity of sport. Justifying the continued ban, Mr. Parsons pointed to Russian officials lacking cooperation with global sports regulators as well as their failure to acknowledge the evidence of systematic cheating laid out nearly 2 years ago. Critically, however, he also praised solid progress within Russia with respect to anti-doping education and drug testing, progress that had inspired confidence in the organization's ability to distinguish between clean athletes and tainted ones, he said. Continue reading the main story. Related coverage. Calling all designers, make Olympic logos for Russia and the two Koreas January 19, 2018. Olympic doping diaries, chemists' notes bolster case against Russia November 28, 2017. Russia is barred from Winter Olympics. Russia is sending 169 athletes to Winter Olympics. January 25, 2018. Russia's Paralympic team is facing a ban of its own July 22, 2016. Recent comments. J. David 1 hour ago. The Olympics and FIFA are a joke. Russian athletes should not be competing. Period. I won't be watching either the Seoul Olympics or the PDM 1 hour ago. Anyone who wants to see where the USA is headed under Trump, just check out Larry's comments here on behalf of Russia. Blanket denial and Sam D 1 hour ago. So even with something as innocent as the Paralympics is important enough for Russia to cheat. And the Republicans in Congress and in the See all comments, write a comment. The Paralympic decision stands somewhat in contrast to the International Olympic Committee's ruling on Russia's participation in the 2018 Winter Games next month in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Unlike their Olympic counterparts, Paralympic officials had not previously allowed Russian athletes to bypass the ban and compete as individuals outside of qualifying events this fall. Olympic officials, who nominally banned Russia last month, have given 169 Russian athletes special clearance to compete when the Olympics begin on February 9. The Paralympics, the global showcase for disabled athletes, will follow on March 9. Mr. Parsons said Monday that Paralympic officials would allow up to 35 Russian athletes who met strict conditions, including a rigorous history of drug testing, to compete in Pyeongchang as neutral athletes in a handful of sports, including alpine skiing, biathlon and wheelchair skiing. That number that is roughly half the size of the team Russia typically sends. Different from the Rio period when we couldn't guarantee which athletes were clean and which athletes were not, Mr. Parsons said, referring to the 2016 Games, where no Russian Paralympian competed. Now we can have a very good understanding of which athletes were clean and which athletes are not. Each Russian Paralympian who is approved to compete, he said, will be identified in competition as a neutral Paralympic athlete. Olympic officials have approved individual Russian athletes to be identified by their nationality, as Olympic athlete from Russia. Asked by a Russian journalist why Paralympic officials were not similarly allowing Russian athletes to show their national pride, Paralympic officials stressed that there were consequences, given that Russia remains suspended. We cannot use the name Russia in the title of team, Craig Spence, spokesman for the International Paralympic Committee, said. Russia's state-backed cheating, deconstructed in investigative reports in 2016, corrupted the results of numerous major global competitions across disciplines and years, most dramatically the 2014 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Sochi, Russia. At those Paralympics, the host nation won 80 medals, nearly 5 dozen more than the second-ranking country. Immediately after the revelations that Russian Paralympians had used anabolic steroids to gain an edge over their competitors in Sochi, the Paralympic Committee banned Russia in August 2016, weeks ahead of the Rio Games. Philip Craven, then head of the committee, denounced Russia as having chosen medals over morals. In the roughly 18 months that followed, Paralympic officials outlined criteria for Russia's path to reinstatement, including that Russian officials accept the detailed evidence of their systematic cheating. Another stipulation was that Russia's anti-doping agency be recertified by the global regulator of drugs in sports. Last November, that regulator denied Russia's appeal for reinstatement, citing, in part, Russian officials' lack of cooperation in sharing evidence from Moscow. Russian officials have apologized broadly for doping problems while refuting that the state directed widespread cheating. In recent months leading up to decisions about the 2018 Games, Moscow escalated its prosecution of a key whistleblower living in the United States, Dr. Gregory Rodchenkov, against whom criminal charges were filed in Russia in November. Earlier this month, hackers tied to the Russian government released a new crop of stolen emails seeking to expose, and perhaps stoke, discord between global sports officials and anti-doping authorities. Russia's inability to participate in the last Paralympics in Brazil provoked particularly pointed outcry from top Russian officials. President Vladimir Putin criticized the ban as outside of the law, outside of morals and outside of humanity, characterizing sanctions against the nation's handicapped athletes as a Western effort to humiliate Russia's weakest, most vulnerable citizens. It's just cynical to take it out on people for whom sport has become the meaning of life, Mr. Putin said in 2016, describing Russia's banned Paralympians as those who by their example give millions of people with limited capabilities hope and faith in their power.